What's going on, man? It's your boy Jay Holley, and we are back with another episode of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Thank you. You are far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world, but I'm so glad you are here with me. I am Jesse Holley, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel me when I speak. This is episode 99. You know what you got to do, man. Hit the like, subscribe button. You can find this on wherever you find your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. Fourth and Long. Follow the page, Fanatics Views. And also, we shoot each and every week from the Playmakers 88 Bar and Grill off of Highway 121 in the Colony, where the food is delicious. The drinks, they tell me, are really good. I don't drink, so I wouldn't quite know, but the drinks are really good. The food here is amazing. The scenery here is amazing. You want to come out here and try out the Playmaker, and you never know. You never, ever know. You just may so happen to run into the Playmaker. He's here often. So if you're a fan of the Cowboys, Cowboy players are here. This is not funny, but it is funny. Celebrities are here. People who probably will be in prison for a long time. We saw, who we saw a couple weeks ago, Tay, was it Yellow Beezy? We saw Yellow Beezy was in here. You know more Yellow Beezy. I don't think Yellow Beezy will be in Playmakers for a while, but hey. I mean, the life you choose come with the consequences. Yeah, man, make sure you guys come down here and check out Playmakers 88, 121 in the Colony, right in front of Top Golf. So if you see the big nets right in front of that, you will see a big blue and gray building for Playmakers 88. Come out here and get you a meal. You guys know how I like to get down. I like to get my motivation at the beginning of the show, because let's be honest, a lot of you are not going to be here at the end, and that's okay. I am not for everybody. But before you go, make sure you find one episode. By the time that you see this one, 99 will be out. 99. Find one. Give me 15 minutes to listen. If you don't like it, cool. Find another one. And another one until you love me. And then tell everybody that you know. Put in the group chat, family chat, church chat, girls chat, all the chats, so that they can now experience the Jay Holley experience. All right, here is my quote of the day. It's a very simple one. Do what you love. Do what you love. We are spending far too much time in this very short life that we have on this very beautiful earth. We're spending far too much time doing things that we do not love. Be around people that you love. Do things that you love, whether that's a career, a hobby, something that you want to learn, somewhere that you want to go, somewhere that you want to live. We are spending far too much time in misery over things that we actually control. I've taken up reading books in 2025, and I'm reading one of the readings that I was looking at today. It just really just talked about doing what we love, not wasting our time on the things that we cannot control. Think about it for a second, about how much stuff that happens in your everyday life. Some of it's small, some of it's medium-sized, some of it's catastrophic. But how much time you spend on things and worrying about things that you cannot control, that you do not love, that you do not care about, but you find yourself spending your valuable minutes. You don't get these minutes back. Time is the most precious and the most expensive thing that we have, because no matter how much money you have, no matter how much status you have, you do not get more time. You get the same 24 hours that I get. I get the same 24 hours that you get. Stop spending time doing and being with people you do not love. My good friend Marion Barber used to always say, do what you love and love what you do every single day. You'll live longer. You won't have as much stress. You won't find yourself entering an early grave because of stress and anxiety and depression, because you're surrounded by things and people that you do not love. Want better for yourself. Do better for yourself. Do what you love. All right, man, let's jump into this thing. We're in the off season, so we can kind of go all around sports. But, I like to start with my Dallas Cowboys. And, the Dallas Cowboys still haven't made any major moves. There's been some reports of late. And maybe this is some of the the insiders and the people who work these different beats trying to drum up some interest, because there are some free agents that are left out there. And free agents in particular, a spot that the Cowboys have a need for is wide receiver. One in particular is the conversation about the Cowboys may have interests in the brother of Trayvon Diggs, former Pro Bowl receiver Stefon Diggs. Now, if you know, Stefon Diggs played in Houston last year before injuring himself, tearing an ACL, and is in the process of recovering from an ACL. The Cowboys are in desperate need of a number 2 wide receiver. I don't care what people tell you. Jalen Tolbert, Ryan Flournoy, Jonathan Mingo, whoever you want to add into that conversation is not the number 2. They've had their chances. They're not. They can play the position, but they're not the number 2 that you need, that Dak needs, that the Cowboys need in order to find themselves in a position of success. They aren't. Brandon Cooks has gone on to greener pastures. He is now back with Kellen Moore in New Orleans with the Saints. And CD, in all of his glory, in all of his goodness, is still looking for a proper running mate, someone that can take a tad bit of pressure off of CD, someone who can take advantage of single coverage because the teams are deciding to double team CD Lamb. CD Lamb is pleading. He even said it earlier this month when they did the reconstruction that he had to do anything to do. But he said, "Hey, I can't do it by myself," and he's right. He can't do it by himself. Dak cannot do it by himself. Who's coming back from the hamstring injuries, look to be moving well in the offseason when you see him around with his family on vacation or at different events. I remember seeing him a couple weeks ago. We were at an event together for the girls flag football in DFW. Looks good, moving good. So look forward to seeing Dak. But CeeDee Lamb needs a running mate. And so when you hear the conversation about Stefon Diggs, and I'm going to be respectful. Right? I'm going to be respectful. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I don't think the fit's good. He's aging. He's coming off an ACL injury, and there was when Stefon Diggs was a Minnesota Viking, there was one of the players in the locker room, got a camera, and was going around the locker room, and he asked a simple question. Now, to some, it's funny, it's joking, it's ha, 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 ha. But over time, it's kind of reigned true in the personality of a person. And the question was, who would you not want to date your sister? And almost 100% of the people in that video responded and said, Stefon Diggs. And we all laughed and joked about it because it is pretty funny. But those are small little character flaws that you see in a person. And then you start, they leave these places and they don't kind of, we saw what Stefon Diggs was with him and Josh Allen in Buffalo. And how that kind of started out good and then just, it didn't end well. It was a lot of ego involved, and I get it. Wide receivers, we've been labeled divas and all that kind of good stuff. And when you're talking about coming into a locker room that, let's be completely honest, is in need of a strong leader that is able to cultivate the locker room and create a culture that encompasses winning. And when you add a very alpha type player into that mix, and I'm not saying that Dak can't control or is not a leader, and I'm not saying that the newfound leadership that Micah Parsons has found because Tank Lawrence is gone, I just don't like it. I think Steph is not good for the culture that you're trying to create. And then on top of that, there is something when you have like twins or brothers and sisters or brothers or sisters, there is something about, and I'm a victim of this as well. I'm not exempt from this because I have brothers. But when you're around your brothers or you're around your people, you gain a sense of confidence that you might not have independent of them. And I don't know if putting Stefon and Trayvon together, that level of what the locker room culture needs. I don't think it's a fit. And so for that very reason, in the words of Shark Tank, I think I'm out. I think I'm out on Stefon Diggs being the number 2 wide receiver to CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what he's going to be coming off this ACL injury. I know that he went to Houston last year to kind of try to rectify his career a little bit, to show people that I can be a good locker room guy. I can be a good teammate guy, and I still have some productivity left. And the plan was to go there on a 1-year deal, and then when I left there from that 1-year deal, to be able to enter back into the free agent pool and garner a payday. That's the point now. It's how, as your career ends, it's how many paydays you can keep hitting them in the head for. I'm not saying that he was a problem in Houston because I haven't heard anything from the Houston people about him being a problem, but the productivity, like he wasn't as productive as you wanted him to be as a number 2 before the injury. Good player. Still a good, decent player. Would help your football team. But for what the Cowboys need, I don't know if the potential of disturbing the locker room, I don't know if the productivity that he may bring, I don't know if it's worth it. We always talk about talent versus tolerance. And Minnesota Vikings, early Buffalo Bills, Stefon Diggs, I tolerate it. I'll tolerate the BS. Because he had a level of skill that was working, that was really, really good, and that would have helped this football team tremendously. I don't know what this iteration of Stefon Diggs has enough skill left for you to potentially have to deal with the locker room stuff, with the off the field stuff. And you know Cardi B gonna be in town. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. If there is an advantage for a gentleman of my age and stature who enjoys the fruits of a woman, just a look. It's just a look. I'm just looking. I'm not touching. I'm just looking. Cardi B got cute feet. Wouldn't mind seeing Cardi B around here a couple times. You know what I'm saying? He might come down here and get wings. I might be in here doing my show. Cardi B might be in here getting the wings, and boom. I'm just saying, if there is a plus, Cardi B, she probably gonna bring some of her girls. Now I can't afford none of them, but ain't nothing wrong with putting on. Ain't nothing wrong with getting a little look. Okay, Cardi B. And going about your business. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with getting a little. All right. Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I would be out. I would be out on Stefon Diggs, and I'm out on Keenan Allen too. Do I think Keenan Allen still has? I said this before for Keenan Allen. My biggest concern about Keenan, he was never fast, and now he's old. And does he still have some ability? Yes, that ability I don't too much concern myself with. It's the availability, and for Keenan, he'll miss some games. And if Keenan's missing games, then I'm right back into the spot that I'm in before. Now, we can't predict who will be a part of the games. We We could say, all right, his track record says, like kind of the Tyron Smith situation. Tyron's going to miss 4 to 6 games every single year. Don't know when, but you can set your watch to the fact that Tyron Smith is going to miss anywhere from 4 to 6 to a season every year his last couple of years in the league. And kind of Keenan is that kind of same way as well, that he's going to miss some games, and now we have to go back and rely on Mingo and Tolbert and Flournoy and the likes. And I just don't know if that's – I'm trying to get to the Super Bowl. I am. I really am. I know people give me a hard time and they call me a hater and they say, oh, Jesse, you a hater. You don't want to see the Cowboys win. I said, nobody wants to see the Cowboys win more than me. And I gave you guys my reason. I told you guys before, I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm a Cowboy. And for what I do in business, it is profitable for the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl. I like checks. I like getting paid to do this. And when they go to the Super Bowl, y'all going to watch more. My views will go up. Money will go up. Speaking engagements will go up. Opportunities will go up all across the board. Y'all know I do a bunch of shows. Y'all know I got that dog in me. I got that working dog in me. So, yeah, I'm out. I'm out on that. So, we'll see where the Cowboys have to go. I'm out on Keenan. I'm out on Stefon Diggs. I know that Amari Cooper is still out there somewhere. I just feel like Amari Cooper is one of those dudes who stands a little bit on principle. I think he has a little bit of that in him, like old school in him. I'm on principle. And so the way that he was let go from the Cowboys. Now, in the words of the great Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, everybody has a price. Now, if the Cowboys approach Amari Cooper and they decide that, hey, we got a price. I know some of y'all going to say, well, it's only going to be for the home games because he don't play away games. I know that's coming. I already know that is what y'all going to say. He's one that I'm okay with if that happened to sign, but this is the part of the Cowboys that we get frustrated with because we get to a point in time and we still haven't addressed the major needs. And what's going to end up happening is we're either going to try to get one in the draft if that one falls to us, or we're going to kind of go searching later on in the draft to find another receiver when we could have been aggressive in free agency and either traded for one or got one of the good ones in the first half of free agency. But that is the life that the Cowboys live. Another note from the Cowboys superstar pass rusher, Micah Parsons. It's kind of a twofold thing. You guys know I do my other show, DLLS, Cowboys podcast, and one of my co-hosts over there is a beat writer, but he works for us now, Clarence Hill. And he went out to Micah's event. He had a bowling event last week for charity, which is a great, great cause. And kudos to Micah and his people and his family for putting on that to help those less fortunate. And so that's a great thing that Micah does in the community. And a lot of players do, but, this one in particular, Micah doing in the community. And so, while there, Micah got a chance to talk to some of the reporters, and reporters ask questions. And, the main thing that comes out with Micah, and I don't know if I've talked about this I personally, and I got to make sure I say this right. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want people coming after me. I don't want to piss off any more people in the Parsons family. I don't have a problem with Micah's podcast. Personally, I don't. With the podcast itself, with the form, like the formation of him having a podcast, I personally do not have a problem with it. In fact, I don't mind it because he's gonna give us topics to talk about. He's going to create buzz for us to talk about. So for that reason, he helps me. And I'm okay with that. Now, the problem that I do have is it's what he says at times in the podcast that I know ruffled feathers, as you can tell by the way that Tank Lawrence exited and the things that he had to say. It ruffles some of the feathers in the locker room. And when you, especially when you're losing, or you're demanding or commanding things from other people that you aren't doing. Now, I also believe in the words of Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson said, everyone gets treated fairly, but not everyone gets treated the same. That's just basically code word for, if you a Pro Bowler, if you are a nominee for all first team All Pro or a Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, or the best at your position, you will get treated fair. Everyone in the room will get treated fair, but him, he gets treated differently. Everyone will have an opportunity to do what you're supposed to do, but he will have more. He won't get yelled at. He won't get scolded. He won't get fined to miss a bus or plane or be in his hotel room not at curfew. Yeah, we all get treated fairly, but we all don't get treated the same. And so for Micah, being the greatness that he is, and he is great. Yes, you are Micah Parsons. You are bona fide great. Absolutely, the talent is undeniable. It speaks for itself. But there are times when you're telling people to be where they're supposed to be and do what they're supposed to do that they'll look at you and they go, but you're not that. You're not doing it. And because you have such exceptional talent, it sometimes gets overlooked. And that's just the way that it goes. But I personally don't have a problem with Micah's podcast. And Micah made a comment about it in an article written by Clarence Hill at All City Network, DLS Cowboys podcast. He just talked about it, said, you know what? Some people drink, which Micah doesn't. Some people smoke, which Micah doesn't. He said, I just tweet. That's what I do. That's his vice. And you know what? Have at it. Have at it. Keep creating content for us. And in true fashion, Micah tweeted. Now, if you remember back towards the end of the year, and I know that football is very fluid, things change. Yesterday's price is not today's price. But back in like December-ish, January-ish, Micah was out talking about his contract time, right? About getting paid. And Micah, made it very clear that at that time, the going rate, I think, was 35 million at that time. And Micah was saying, hey, I don't need to have 35 million. I'm cool with 30 if that means I'm going to go get that they're going to use that money to go get some other players so I'm not double and triple teamed and chipped all the time. And I told y'all back then, I was like, that's Micah talking. And then there were reports that came out from inside the Parsons family about deals getting done and stuff like that. And if you read the article from Clarence Hill, they'll even talk about it even more because he talked to his agent, David Malugeta, at that particular time, that David Malugeta has yet to talk to the Cowboys about contracts. Now, what the Cowboys like to famously do is they like to bring the player in for a conversation. See, this is the trick that Jerry and Steven try to run. They try to get you into the room and they try to kind of ha-ha, he-he, chum-chum. We love you. We like you. We want to be forever. We're family. We're family. And they get you in this room and they wine and they dine you and they tell you all the sweet things that you are and they whisper sweet nothings in your ear and about how you're the absolute best. And then they try to offer you a bad deal. And so while reports say that David Malugeta, his agent, has not formally talked to the Cowboys about contracts, there was a report that Micah talked to the Joneses about contracts. And of course, I told you guys back then, I was like, Micah can kind of say what he wants. And I get it, the agent works for him. But if you remember back, Dak talked about when he was getting his deal. He said, I owe it to myself and I owe it to the other quarterbacks around the league to get the very best deal. Because this is why you see players from the Players Association come out and say, I'm not going to let you take that slave deal. Because what you do now is owners, when they say they're looking out for the best interest of the team, it's never true. It's never true. Yeah, they are looking out for the best interest of their team, not the persons who make the team. They're always looking out for the best interest of their wallets, their pocketbooks, their bank accounts. Keep telling y'all, it's a business. And it's the agent's job and the NFL Players Association job when you have contracts like Micah's about to get. He's about to get the richest non-quarterback contract in NFL history. I can't let the owners off the hook. Not just because of Micah, yes, because of Micah, but for the Micahs that come after Micah. For the potential in the next couple years, Abdul Carter, in 5 years when he gets to the table, guess what? His deal should be record-breaking. He should be able to stand on the money shoulders of Micah Parsons' record-breaking deal because he took the right deal and the agent got him the right deal and wasn't swindled out of a deal. And that's how you keep growing from the player side of things. See, that's the part that some of y'all fans don't understand. Y'all want to call folks greedy. Y'all want to call folks stingy. And not stingy, but selfish and greedy and all that kind of stuff for getting their money. No. It ain't just for me. Yes, it is for me, but it ain't just for me. It's for the guys that come after me. It's how we continue to keep the owners honest. Because if the owners could pay less, they would. You saw they did the running backs. When the value of running backs went down, the owners didn't say, well, you know what, guys? Here's a fair market price. No, they said, oh, y'all go down? Okay, cool. We ain't got to pay them. We not paying them. Running backs' value dropped, and they stopped paying them. They stopped paying them. Remember, what they gave Zeke and guys like Zeke and Kitchen and Cat, they ain't paying them folks like that no more. So Micah talked about, I don't need 35. I'm good with 30. I'm good with 30. I don't need to be the highest paid. And I told y'all then, I said, David Malugetta is a shark. And he's a great white. He's a great white. You look at some of the biggest contracts in football. I mean, he was the one that got Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed. Unheard of. While he was still pending a case. Unheard of. No quarterback had ever gotten that much money guaranteed, ever. And this is the dude who was coming off sexual assault charges. Was in the middle of a sexual assault case. Multiple sexual assault cases. $230 million. You know who are the three highest defensive backs in the league? Jalen Ramsey, J.C. Horn, Derek Stingley Jr. Take a wild guess who represents them. It ain't Drew Rosenhaus. And no knock at Drew. It's David Malugetta. So when Micah was talking about, I don't need that, I don't need this. And then the market changed. I get football fluid, I understand. Then all of a sudden now, Cowboys waited. And then old Max Crosby got a deal. And the Cowboys waited some more. And then old Myles Garrett said, I want out of Cleveland. Want nothing to do with Cleveland. I want to get going. Somebody else come save me. Cleveland said, hey, psst, come here. Now you're going to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. He said, oh. Cleveland, this is for. That's what Myles Garrett went for. Cleveland, this is he went the land. He back in the land. You think David Malugetta is going to walk away from the table? Micah Parsons, who's younger than Myles Garrett, and is playing at a level of Myles Garrett, or if not better. at times. Not the run defender that Myles Garrett is, but for sure the pass rusher that he is. You think David Malugetta is going to take anything less? And so I love Micah does what he does, and he tweets because doesn't smoke. That's cool. Doesn't drink. That's great. But he tweets. And so he tweeted a couple days ago. He said, some of these ages don't have the best interest for y'all, man. Wake up. David Malugetta has shown time in and time again. David Malugetta is showing it time and time again. It's sad seeing some of these players get violated by teams because of lack of decency and effort by their agents. Yes. Yes, Micah. Translation. David Malugetta said, hey, Micah, come here. Sit down. You know how you are regarded as one of the best on the football field? And I let you do you. And I don't say nothing. I just work behind the scenes and do my thing. I'm the best at what I do in this agent field. So what I need you to do is not talk any more numbers about what you will take, what you won't take, what's a good deal. And keep your family quiet about these deals too. Let me do what I do. Let me be the Micah Parsons of this agency thing, this agent thing. I don't need your help. I get it. I know that you want to play to the fans and let them know and kind of just do opposite of what the Cowboys do, because the Cowboys try to get out in front and say the players are being greedy. It takes two to tango. I know what you're trying to do, but stop. Don't do that. Let me do what it is that I do, and you're gonna be a very rich man. Somebody puts out the tweet, which, by the way, he should have had David Malugetta do his boy also Diggy do his contract, because boy, his agent got taken out back and worked. But everybody ain't David. Everybody ain't the Shark. And so I love that Micah tweets, but that tweet particularly was funny to me because, yeah, you don't want 30. And that's cool. The numbers have changed, but I bet you don't want 35 either. You want the record. And that's fine. And actually, you deserve it. But let David do what he do. Hey, David don't need your help. He don't need your help. But this was a good moonwalk. It was a good moonwalk off your original statement about what you wanted and didn't want to do. All right, man, let's move to the NCAA tournament. It should be the SEC Invitational. That's what it should be. But Tar Heels, they home. They gone. We got hyped up after everyone talked about, North Carolina shouldn't be in. And then we put belt to tail on San Diego State, and I was riding hot. I'm like, now that's how you drive. Remember Bad Boys and Martin, and they were in the car, and Martin was driving, and Will was like, from now on, that's how you drive. That's how I was. I'm like, from now on, that's how you play. Put a whooping on San Diego State. And then the clock struck 12. The pumpkin, the carriage turned back into a pumpkin. The beautiful white horses, what are they, Clydesdales or stallions or whatever they were, they turned back to mice. And then the beautiful dress turned back to rags. The University of North Carolina, we went back to who we were all year long. One team comes out in the same uniform with North Carolina across the chest, that beautiful Carolina blue and white, or white and Carolina blue, the combination of colors, the rich history and tradition, the blue blood of college basketball. And I don't recognize the team. They can't run offense. They don't play a lick of defense. And I'm talking about these are some of the best athletes in the world. Don't play a lick of defense on Ole Miss. Ole Miss is shooting 70. At one point in time, Ole Miss was shooting 76% from three. 76 from three. And a lot of those shots they had, booty butt naked, wide open. In like true Carolina fashion for this year, the 2024-2025 season, they got down by a whole lot. And then they go into the locker room and they come back out in that beautiful, beautiful uniform with North Carolina across the chest and that Carolina blue and white or white and Carolina blue. Such rich history and tradition. Blue blood of college basketball. And it's the team and the players that I recognize. R.J. Davis, Elliot Cadeau, all of these players, Seth Trimble, and they're playing out of their mind. They're defending. They're not fouling. They're rebounding. They're getting out and run. They're hitting shots. They're the running gun North Carolina Tar Heel that I've known and participated in and love. Not a Tar Heel born, but I am a Tar Heel bred. When I die, I will be a Tar Heel dead. That's the team that I saw. But like all year long, we have these insurmountable leads that we have to overcome. And we're just climbing the ladder, and it gets to a point where we just don't have enough. And we lose to a decent team in the end. It's just tough to come back from 20 and beat good basketball teams. And that's why we were 1-12 or 1-13 in quad one wins this year, because a lot of those losses, we got down so much in the first half and fought our way all the way back. And it was the little things over and over and over and over and over that killed us. And so the season comes to an abrupt end. And you lose R.J. Davis because, he's been there forever. Can't stay. He's off. And reports came out today that point guard / shooting guard, point guard mainly, guard, Elliot Cadeau is entering the transfer portal. So you're losing RJ, and now you're going to lose Elliot Cadeau, which, okay, I thought Elliot was a decent player. He was a good player. Didn't shoot well, was turnover prone, but it was a good player nonetheless. But now you have another spot that you have to fill. You already have to fill the spot of the second leading scorer in North Carolina history, in R.J. Davis, former ACC Player of the Year, took the team to the championship. That's a big hole to fill. But in Hubert I trust. He ain't going nowhere, y'all. In Hubert I trust. I think the North Carolina Tar Heels realized that in the day and time that we live in today, that North Carolina on the front of the jersey ain't enough. It's not. You gotta put some dollar signs with it. They hired a GM, and now I think the Carolina collectives have brought more money for the Tar Heels to spend. Because the Cowboys ain't spending no damn money and Carolina ain't spending no damn money. But you got to spend more money. And when I called it the SEC Invitational, there's 7 in the Sweet 16. 7 of the 16 teams left in the NCAA tournament come from the SEC. Now, I didn't do all of the research, and I'll probably have it for you next time. But there's probably a direct correlation when you're talking about NIL spendable money from the collective, from the universities. There is a direct connection to the school that you're seeing in the NCAA Sweet 16 this year. Look at what they do in football numbers. Schools like Tennessee, Ole Miss, Bama, Auburn, Florida, not necessarily Kentucky. A&M still in? No, they're not in. But they had a run. Arkansas. Arkansas doesn't get John Calipari and starts to play players without, one, they have a really good alumni base, but Arkansas football brings in a lot of money. Believe it or not. Brings in a boatload of money. Ain't that nothing? What else is going on in Arkansas? What are you doing in Arkansas? What else are you doing in Arkansas? Kissing your cousin, drinking moonshine, kissing your cousin, going to the football games. That's all you're doing in Arkansas. You kissing your cousin on moonshine and going to the football games. And I think when you look at that, the schools that have those really big, robust football programs, the money that is generated from there that now have to be spread out amongst the other sports, basketball in a lot of those areas are the second biggest sport. Now I got more money to play with in the collective to be able to go out and now pay multiple players millions of dollars. And, do I get the very best players? Do I get the Cooper Flags of the world? No. But if I can go get 5 really good players and then also have the ability to say, I am X, Y, and Z school, would you come play for us? That helps. But no, what we got at Carolina? We got goddamn Bill Belichick laying on his back doing Pilates with the 24-year-old girl, skipping pro day and not giving no real big money back to spending money on him. And I don't know, whatever. My Tar Heels are out. That's another conversation for another day. My Tar Heels are out. There are no more. And here's the thing. And here's why I think the days of the Cinderella story, the days of that story that you can kind of get behind. You had the McNeese State, right? You didn't even have a player. You had the goddamn manager.
Loyola, Chicago.
Those days are done. The Florida Gulf Coast days, done. And the reason being that those days are done is because those dudes are hitting the transfer portal and they're saying, I can be a 17-point scorer at Florida Gulf Coast, or I can go to Houston and score 10. I can be the leading scorer at Loyola Chicago, and I get in the transfer portal, and now I'm coming off the bench at Florida. I saw a graphic, 3 players from that Florida Gulf Coast team that went to the Final Four in 2023. 3 players from that team, Michigan, Houston, Florida. They gone. There's a player that at Ole Miss, I want to say it's Ole Miss. Ole Miss or San Diego State. Ole Miss or San Diego State. But there's a tall kind of African kid. Can play inside, play outside. He was hurt at the point of the year. He going to be in the portal. Hey, come to Carolina. Come play at Carolina. Come on and get some of this Carolina blue in your life. You know what I'm saying? So the Cinderella stories are gone because they don't stay. They don't stay at the small schools no more. They go win the Sun Belt Player of the Year, and they scoring 22 points in the Sun Belt. Know what another coach says? Junior scoring 22 points in the Sun Belt. Come be in my rotation at Arkansas. Come be in my rotation at Duke. Come be in my rotation at, you name the program, Alabama, St. John's, whatever it is. Gonna pay a little bit more money, and you're gonna play. You ain't playing. You ain't riding commercial. You riding for real. So the Cinderella stories are done because those guys are now being paid to come play for the big dogs and become a rotational player. Instead of being a star in the Sun Belt or the American League or the WAC or whatever, I'm going to the SEC. I'm going to the ACC. I'm going to the Big 12. I'm going to the Big 10 to one of the other schools that can pay me more. And yeah, my role sometimes may diminish a little bit, but I'm more exposure, playing better competition. I'm making more money. I'm at a Power 5 conference. Cinderella, dead. Money bought Cinderella. She put to the side. Look, going forward, you ain't gonna see too many Cinderella stories. All right, man, move right along. Another thing that I've talked about before, a couple things. When it comes to this whole pro day and combine thing, I'm telling you guys, it may not happen next year, but I'm telling you, mark my words, episode 99, put it in the archives. Pro days and combines are dying. I'm telling you. And right now, the blood is not gushing out. It's a slow paper cut. Players are looking at the combine now, like the good ones. There's going to be a bunch of Jesse Holley that want to go out there and showcase their skill to try to improve their position. But the pro day is to shine for the players that really matter, like the names, the combines, the pro days. We want to see the names. The other guys will get your chance. And the Jesse Hollies of the world, shine, baby. But the guys. And you've seen it now. A lot of guys have opted not to work out at pro days, not work out at combines, not run, not lift, just interview. Or they elect to do some very, very private workouts so they can control. And one player who, on a lot of people's boards, and here's, let me say this first. I'm not a scout. I'm not a coach. And everybody has their different systems and the way that they do things. But I do try to be a rational, thinking human being. And one of the things that I was taught a long time ago, it's always the eye in the sky never lies. Put it on tape. Put it on film. Tell me what it is in between the lines so that when I've turned on the film, it shows. I've been taught that my whole life. But then we have these things that we kind of go to the point of, he has to have 37-inch arms. He has to be so tall. He has to be this metrics or that metrics or this or that. And sometimes I fight this. I fight it. I fight this battle of, okay, the metrics and tape's tape. Which brings me to Miami, University of Miami, wide receiver Xavier Restrepo. I don't know. Resposado? I call it Reposado. I'm sorry. I don't know his name. Restrepo. Restrepo. I even Googled it earlier. Do you still think it's still in my Google? Let's roll with Xavier. Sorry, Xavier, but I'm gonna make a case for you, buddy. Let me get this name. Do I have to still have it in a pronunciation? Here we go. Let me see here. Is it turned down? Oh, I didn't start it. Hold on.
Pronouncenames.com.
Yeah, so I went.
Restrepo.
Xavier Restrepo. Okay, Miami wide receiver. Now, Xavier Restrepo, I gotta roll your R's. Restrepo ran at the Miami Pro Day yesterday. And he ran a not so flattering time. And not even flattering. He ran a bad time. He ran a really, really bad time.
He was a dog for him this year.
Dog. dog. But he ran a bad time. Been a dog for them the last 2 seasons. 17 touchdowns in the last 2 years. 85 catches in 2023, 69 in 2024. 1,092 yards in 2023, 1,127 in 2024, 16.3 yards per catch, 11 touchdowns. He ran a 40 time of 4.83 being reported. And all of a sudden now, everyone is up in arms and they're like, oh, he's going from a day 2. And I think, day 2, right? Remember, the league now goes first round is day 1. Then they come back on, I think, Saturday and they go rounds 2, 3, 4. And then the third day, or 2 and 3. And then the third day is 4, 5, 6, and 7. So he was a day 2 guy. And the thing that has gotten me a little bit perturbed, I say that right? Yeah. It's got me a little bit agitated, is how is it that you can take, how many plays he ran? Snaps. It blows my mind that you can have this many snaps on film. Let's say 900 snaps. Let's say 700 to 1,000 snaps.
He's playing about 85% of snaps during the year.
So during the year. 85% of the snaps in the last 2 years, you got film on him, let's say anywhere from 700 to 1,100 on film snaps. And you would say that this young man in the last 2 seasons has been nothing but productive. You've seen him separate, run away from, create space, make contested catches, provide for his team, block, win games, make tough contested catches. All of these things that you've seen a player do for the last 2 seasons. And then you go, he ran a 4.8. He's out. Well, what the hell are we watching tape for? What are we watching film for? Why are we even doing the whole film thing, period? And I get that speed is a component, but I can show you a bunch of dudes who run 4.4, 4.3, can't play football. I can show you a bunch of dudes who went in the first round, had all the aesthetics, that if you had actually watched their tape, it never translated from in college. And again, I'm not a scout, and every scout will have their own formula of how they judge and how they get things done. But I'm like, how is it that I can have so much evidence? If this was a case in court, and all you had to bring was 4.38 as your findings of evidence. That's your 4.83. I'm sorry, 4.83. Excuse me, not 4.38. 4.38 when we have this conversation. 4.38. 4.83. If that's what you're bringing as evidence, but I'm bringing to you 1,000 pieces of evidence that says otherwise, how is the verdict going to be? He shouldn't be drafted high, or he shouldn't be he shouldn't be a second day draftee. Why play the games then? And this is why you're going to see the death of pro day, the death of combine, because you have these thought processes in your mind of what, this tall, this wide, this thick, ankles got to be thin, got to have a fat butt, got to be able to bend this way, got to be able to do that. Oh, and everybody's different. We take these old way of thinking that was done 30, 40, 50 years ago, And we still try to apply it to today's athlete. What did tape say? The tape say he separated from dude who was 4'3"? Huh? Did this tape show that this young man who's 5'10", did he separate from dudes who ran in the combine and had incredible speed numbers? Did he? Yes, he did. Over and over and over. And I'm not just talking about goals and post. That ain't football to me. That ain't transferable to me. We've seen a lot of dudes have production in college. They're like, oh, he's productive. Yeah, he runs goals, and they throw him 5 goals a game, and he catches one, and he catches a hitch, and now he's averaging 79, 80 yards, and you play 12 games, he's 1,000 yards, but damn it, he can't run a route. And there's a distinct difference between a receiver and a route runner. There's a distinct difference between the two. They play the same position, they ain't the same person. They don't bring the same tools and qualities. But you look at, you go, all right, the guy that was defending him, we clocked that dude running a 4.46. Or this other guy defending him, we clocked this slot corner, he was running a 4.3. Or this other dude ran a 4.42. This other dude he separated by 3 yards. 4.8. Separated against the 4.3 dude, 4.4 dude, 4.5 dude. 4 yards. Cooked him on the corner route. That safety that came was running all over the place and all the freakish athletic skills. He going that way. Xavier going that way. Touchdown. I don't get it. I don't get it. And again, this is why I feel as strongly as I feel about the death of these underwear Olympics. The tape don't say he plays slow. You look at a guy like Matthew Golden. I think Matthew Golden's a good, really, 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 really good player. Right, a 4.29. He plays fast. He don't play 4.29 fast. Matthew Golden don't play 4.29 fast on film. Plays fast. Don't play 4.29 fast. Like Tyreek Hill plays 4.29 fast. Like you see the separation. You see it. Like he plays that way. There is a respect there because you know if I'm even, I'm leaving. There ain't nothing you can do about it. But I don't know. We think that we have to live by these rules of the old way. What the tape say? I'm a tape guy. What the tape say? I can look at the film and go, oh, nah, this translates. This translates. And he's a 5'10". He ain't going to be your vertical guy. He's not. He's not going to be your vertical guy. But if he can work that underneath and that intermediate, it don't matter when someone else has lifted the defense and now I'm working against a linebacker or a corner. When I make him miss and run through a tackle, I got 40 yards to spare. But I got to make that dude miss in small, tight spaces. I got to be able to navigate through linebackers, over one, under another, under one, over another. I got to come from one side of the field and find that soft spot when I'm running that deep over and settle in it. That is the joy. That is the richness of the receiver that can run routes. Opposed to the guy that's just going to run across. How do I set that guy up all game long? That's what this kid does. And there's more like him. But we scouts will watch the film all year long. We'll go to the games. We'll go to the practices and write and like this kid and go, when he comes to the combine, go, oh, they run fast enough. I'm out. They run fast enough. Wait, you watch this kid all year long and you love the productivity, you love what he did, and all of a sudden, because at a pro day, at a combine, this one situation, he didn't perform to the quote-unquote liking of what the numbers say he should, or whatever numbers that y'all make up that he should, and now you're done. This guy going to 7th round or 6th round or undrafted. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I hate the fact that we This is going to turn more players off to not running, to not performing. Because why do all of that? Why do 2, 3, 4 years sometimes in college only for you to give me 4 seconds to determine my future? The hell I've been doing for the last 4 years. Clearly you're here for a reason. So 4 years, 3 years, 2 years of quality work, productivity doesn't make a difference because whatever happened in this 4, 5, 6 second window changes everything? Nah, that I can't. I hate it. I hate it. And this is going to be the death, slow death. It's the morphine drip. It's poison. It's the slow drip of poison that's going to kill the pro days. It's going to kill the combine because more and more guys are just saying, why the hell would I go and do any of these tests that they want me to do when it doesn't matter what I did 3, 4 years, 2 years on the football field? Because all they're going to do is judge me in this 45-minute workout and say, the hell what I did. If that, you got it on film. So Marvin Harrison Jr. said, got it on film. What more do you need to see? Huh? You need to see a drill with no shoulder pads, with no helmet, no pads, no defense, no one trying to take my head off, nothing schemed against me, no double team. That determines that overrides what you saw in film? When I had a helmet on, the shoulder pads on, and they were schemed against me, and my quarterback's getting rushed, and I got to navigate through a double team, safety slid over, my back hurt, my ankle hurt, 100,000 people. Nah, I'm out. All right, man, I'm going to end on this, and sad news, and it kind of broke my heart, and I have no affiliation. I have zero affiliation, but it broke my heart. It literally broke my heart. Southern California basketball star JuJu Watkins is out with a torn ACL in her right knee. She went down on a drive. The girl bumped her a little bit. Wasn't malicious. Wasn't aggressive. Looked almost non-contact. Went down against, who was that? Was that against Mississippi State? And is out. As the women's sport grows, especially basketball, you find these figures and you get attached to them. And I mean, JuJu is one of the most skilled. She's only a sophomore in the country, and I was really looking forward. I was really looking forward to JuJu Watkins playing against UConn and Paige Beckers. I was. That's who they face in the next round. And I'm sure if the TV networks were honest, they've had graphics already written up. The sponsors already had commercials already written up because they wanted to see Paige Beckers, who will probably be the number 1 overall pick this year. Let's go, Paige. Come on to the Dallas Wings, baby. Come on, Paige. Come on down to the Dallas Wings. That's where you're coming. You're coming to Dallas, girl. But to see the potential number 1 overall pick and what would be the future number 1 overall pick next year, JuJu Watkins. But JuJu will be out for the rest of this tournament, and she probably won't come back. What is this? What month are we in? We are in March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 7 months to October. She's not going to be healed. November, December, January. You might not see her to January. If you see her at all. Because for the WNBA, you have to be 3 years removed from your graduating class. So if JuJu decides next year that she's going to redshirt that entire season, and at the end of that year, which will be 3 years removed from her graduating class, she won't play. And then she'll just enter the draft. So you might not see JuJu Watkins again. But The great Cheryl Miller was on a podcast, and I forgot which podcast that she was on. But she talked about, for a player like JuJu, it honestly is best if you stay in college. JuJu is making more money at Southern Cal than she would make at, pick the team, Indiana, Connecticut, Atlanta, Vegas, Dallas. More money in college than she would make at any point in time in the league. So maybe she may say, she may redshirt that year, or she may wait till later in the season to come back and then come back for her senior year, because at that time they will be really loving her. The JuJu effect will be back in the building. They talked about attendance at USC was up by 20,000. I didn't stutter. 20,000. It was up. And that's solely because of JuJu. They didn't have that before JuJu got there. So if she decides to not come back, she'll probably be the number 1 overall pick when she comes out. If she does, which I think she should, because just for money purposes, WNBA ain't going nowhere. Get all this college money you can. From Nike, from Gatorade, from all the other places, get the money. Get it. But my thoughts and my prayers from Unfiltered with Jesse Holley are out to you, to your family, and this recovery. And I was talking to a homie of mine this morning. I talked about, like, what do you do when adversity hits? I don't know if JuJu has had any adversity in her life. This is the first time she may be facing some. I don't know her personally, but it's how you respond to it. So I wish JuJu nothing but the best in healing and recovery, both mentally and physically, because it is a mental toll to recover from an ACL injury. It's a lonely, lonely process. Ain't nobody in there but you and the doctors and or trainers. So, T's and P's to you. JuJu Watkins, get back soon. Look forward to seeing you, whether it's on the college ranks or WNBA. All right, man, that's it for – I told y'all 100 was going to be good. Didn't I tell y'all that? I told y'all 100 was going to be good. And all I'm going to say is 100 would be like a playmaker scoring a touchdown. I'll leave you guys with that. And remember, do what you love, enjoy life, and eliminate the contingencies. I'm out.